Greetings, fellow Earthlings. Welcome to another episode of And Another Thing with Dave. Seeking the truth, exposing the lies. Remember, together, we are unstoppable. Keep on digging.
So, because the technology back then, they had like 3D, like it was a 3D show. I don't know if you remember that show, Beast Wars. But there's this like spider one, and there's this one episode where if you pause it just right with like, you know how spiders like have stuff coming out of their butts. There's this one episode where it's fucking hilarious. It's fucking hilarious.
I know.
Wait, where was the butt?
It was Tarantulas. It was Tarantulas, and it was Black Arachnia. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
It was fucking hilarious.
Real quick impersonation, just because we're talking about this, and Beast Wars came up. Sorry, adorable.
I'm still waiting for the butt joke from Rose. Like, I didn't hear it.
Oh, you had to watch the show. I just knew that that
it's more of a butt reference.
Yeah,
wow.
it was. Yeah,
wow. I'm so disappointed. Like, I really like butts, and that is no joke.
Hey, if you go to the episode that what I'm talking about, it's fucking hilarious. But
it's a lot of like they are like these spiders are pushing everything out of their ass to like make something happen.
Fucking funny.
Well, to be clear, I don't push things out of my ass. I push things in it.
I know, but adorable.
Yes.
Like, you have to see it. It's so fucking funny. Like, I literally paused that and I was like laughing for like an hour straight with my friend. It was so fucking funny. Oh, I'm sorry.
So, Cannon,
I love your sense of humor, adorable.
I have one for you, Cannon. What is the difference between The Adorable Deplorable and CNN?
All right. This is my taco sort of. What is the difference between CNN and Adorable Deplorable? What are the differences? What are the differences?
I think I got it.
I like to put things up my ass. They like to pull things out of theirs.
Oh!
I knew it.
Oh! All right, just give them some love for the Ukraine sort of like coverage right now. Give them some love for that. Or you mean how am I serious?
The resident liberal, everyone.
Yeah, I just saw footage of bodies lying in the street, and then the guy filmed his rearview mirror, and the bodies started moving. Like, oh, that's not propaganda.
This is not true.
Why?
That is
it is true.
That is
100% true. 100%.
This is
not true.
Why I
That
could
is
never.
not true.
I don't know if it was staged, but that's exactly what I saw.
What'd you say, Adorable?
Oh, I said this is precisely why I would never be able to run for public office, because the Democrats get triggered by the shit that comes out of my mouth, and apparently the Republicans get triggered by the shit that comes in it.
All right. We've talked you've been on the show, what have you, but adorable, before the pandemic, I was projected to sort of run for an office. We had debate here in Charleston, South Carolina, and we were building towards something. You know what I mean? And I had already been part of the neighbor association, and we're moving up. And then the pandemic happened, and you can't talk to anyone, touch anyone. It has to be a Zoom call. But I wanted to run for city council, and I think you wanted to do the same thing.
I used to. There was a point where, so full disclosure, I'm thinking of backing out, but the Texas Libertarian Party is having their state convention in 2 weeks, and the congressional district that I live in is +3R, so it's basically a swing district. And in Houston, we're hyper liberal, so it's a very vulnerable seat for Republicans. And I actually considered seeking the nomination for Libertarian just to piss off the Republicans, because at only a +3 advantage, I would take enough votes to hand it to the Dems just out of principle.
Please do.
No, I literally thought about.
You might win, and that would be the best thing is if you won, because then you could teach both sides what real politics is like.
And I've thought about it, but I well, obviously, like, I'm not very censored. I probably could tone down the butt jokes a little bit, but
No,
No one cares.
No.
No, and honestly, like Adorable never do.
tone down the butt jokes.
don't
I mean,
tone
'cause
down the butt jokes. That's part of your charm.
it's gimmick. You know what I'm saying? And it just whomever feels like when you say shit like that and they get their own butt hurt about what you say, then it proves like as the conversation happens, who are they? The fact that you said that joke, and then like that's all. That's why I love it. That's why
I got your campaign song, Adorable. Doing the butt. Oh, pretty. Doing the butt.
Oh, you brought up Doing the Butt. That's a song from the 80s that like was in itself was like Doing the Butt was supposed to mean like, doing a dance. But like everyone took it as like, no, we're doing the butt. So like I can see that. But like no, brother, I know now coming out of the pandemic, if I would like to do something like in a political sort of like shape or form, I've said some shit on stereo also. I don't think my whomever comes against me is gonna like go through all the hours of stereo and says like he said this because he thinks like white girls with fat asses are like amazing, whatever. I'm not sure they'll ever pull that up, but I'm not scared of it because if I have my once again we're talking about when it comes to GOP, there's no platform. The GOP has no real platform.
No, their platform is traditionalism, and this is why I get in trouble, and why I probably say I'd never win is, our lieutenant governor announced today that they actually want to introduce Texas's version of the "Don't Say Gay" bill.
Yeah,
and did an interview with the news today because they were like, "Okay, you're gay, you're Hispanic, son of an immigrant, you're a Republican. What do you think?" And I said, "Look, unfortunately, like, let's be clear. Conservatives will tout that this is designed to protect and preserve children and education. But at the end of the day, when you continue to deny funding to schools and you continue to not act on things like the property tax issue, the only thing that you're interested in traditionalism and the misguided view of the nuclear family. And it's the same thing with the transgender athletes. It's like, they're like, oh, they can't play in sports. It's about fairness and equality for women. Look, if you're going to talk about being fair and equal to women, it's not very equitable to continue to deny their bodily autonomy and legislate against abortion. And if you want to talk about equality, Republicans continue to implement policy that only furthers the gender pay gap instead of acknowledging that there's a real disparity in this country between the wages of women and men. So you don't get to sit there and say that suddenly you're interested in fairness and equality for women when your policy has been completely contradictory to that.
Yeah, I just saw the best meme about that, by the way. It's a picture of Mike Tyson wearing a sports bra, and it says, "Women's boxing just got interesting."
Sadly, that's funny, but it's okay. So, like, I pulled up on
but look,
line that, like, I just put up on the line and what happened in the news is like once again, like Ohio. Excuse me, not Ohio. The Okies, Oklahoma. They're pushing for a more stricter like line when it comes to like abortion, and I mean,
I just
we're
want to
seeing
say,
this.
Adorable, if you ever take off that Republican jacket, and come to the dark side, I'll definitely vote for you.
I used to be a Democrat. I was a Democrat. I actually ran for office once.
Oh no, not Democrats, but yeah.
So, well, look, like the reality is, like if I was gonna run for office, it would be, it would be a very tight, high-profile congressional race just for airtime. Because what I've seen is that you look at people like Kim Classic on the Republican side, you look at people like Amy Villa on the Democrat side. The most influential people when it comes to public policy are not the people that have been successful at getting into public office, because
Agreed.
you dealing with the bureaucracy of 470 plus members of the United States Congress, and it's tough to get anything done. But yet you sit there and you go on Fox or CNN and you talk about issues, you force the conversation, you travel the country and you rally people. To me, that's much more effective. So I kind of view it as I would run for Congress, drop in 5 to 10K, absolutely of my own money, because I would refuse any PAC money. But really, the idea is forcing the conversations, getting Republicans to somehow
A GoFund. Why not do the go like what my what my sort of member of my team, the honestly the captain of my candidacy, just like, let's just do the GoFundMe thing. You know what I mean?
Adorable.
And
I think you should really run, because I think you could push an
Agreed.
agenda that other people would have to jump on board with.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, if you do the whole GoFundMe thing every week, excuse me, or either every time you have time to go to people who are adding towards your GoFundMe, you give them a line to why they're putting money into
yeah.
your money.
Well,
You know what I'm
you
saying?
can't
You go, you do that, and they know
you
why
can't use GoFundMe.
they believe. Why not?
Yeah, no. So legally, you can't use GoFundMe for politics and campaigns. That's now there is a platform similar to GoFundMe, but it was really interesting because they actually started rejecting Republicans to use their platform. But for me, the reason why I say personal money is, look, if you look at the amount of money that is generated from campaigns, even Bernie Sanders, whose big message,
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
30
Not go there.
is the average donation raise a ton of money is. But that's one of the problems that I have is every 2 years, this country spends more than $1 billion on campaigns and elections. And you have these congressmen, these senators, these state legislators that come into our communities, visit our schools, and raise millions upon millions of dollars for their reelection. But every single one of them has failed to raise a dime in the name of public education, in the name of homeless, in the name of all of these other things that are important.
Agreed.
So I don't want your $5 to $10 to have a yard sign that's going to go in the trash in 18 months. I would rather create a policy approach that's like my Facebook, watch my videos, talk to your neighbors, and instead of fundraisers designed for media and marketing that people care about, let's funnel those funds to real people that need help.
Agreed.
Amen.
Agreed. And I've seen some of my brothers and sisters do the same thing on Facebook, and they have gotten their seats. They've gotten their seats. So, I'm just telling you honestly, Adorable, if it's not our reach for you, dude, it's not our reach for me. If we want to do it, we can. We have the chops, and we care. The point that we care to give into the community, the fact that we care, the fact that we want to see something come out better, the fact that we care, the fact that we have seen this world be sort of broken. It doesn't matter if you are, if you put on the red shirt or you put on a blue shirt. The fact that we care, people see that. People see the fact you care. When you sit down with someone at an old folks home, or when you go to a school, or all the things you said, when you're pressed in flesh and you talk to real people and they know the fact that that's my guy. That's my guy. I don't care who he goes to bed with. I don't care who he's aligned with. Well, they care a little more about that and whatever. But they just want you to be their guy. And that's politics. They want you to be their guy or gal, and I think you can like reach that aspect, dude. Like, I don't think you can reach that aspect.
Well, I'll tell you what. If when I become president, I will make you my Secretary of State.
Thank you. Thank you.
But I want to decide who we bomb.
So I tell you what. I will reserve the position of national security advisor for you.
Okay.
So that way
We're talking about bombs.
you and Cannon can arm wrestle about who we bomb.
I am bigger than him. So
I am bigger than him.
So
Can't I
if
hear
we're
him
in the
stand in
room-
though?
Well, in all fairness,
No. Go ahead.
and say Cannon's bald head looks more like a bomb.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I see, who Biden put ahead of like defense, General Austin, and to see a black male, a dark black male in that role, being sent around the world trying to like stop all these fires, I love it.
What position? You're talking about Secretary of Defense?
Secretary of Defense. He was like, yeah. But
Yeah.
guys, I have to go. Yeah, I'll might pick up a little bit later, but I have to go.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So somebody was saying bombs.
Bomb. Watch, we're about to get like hijacked by the NSA or the CIA.
Right. That's why he took off.
Everyone's the Democrat before they get some money, and then once they get some money, they turn Republican.
Or everybody's a communist and they don't know it yet.
My dumbass forgot to plug my phone in. Whoops.
Yes.
It's plugged in now. That was it. You guys got me all excited. Great conversation.
Yeah. Cannon said he had to go and then like literally left right after. It was pretty funny.
Yep. Must have been a bathroom emergency. But no,
Right.
Adorable. I really think you should run wholeheartedly. I'm saying this completely 100% serious because I think you could have the same effect that Bernie Sanders had, which is he forced certain issues to be on the table.
No, you know the unfortunate thing with Bernie is, look, I actually wish he would have fought a little harder because he forced the conversation, but I think the problem is he still recognized that to really be successful and to have a policy impact as a senator, he still needed money. And so I think that even for Bernie, what we saw is somebody as outspoken as challenging as him even knew that there was a line to draw because he had to protect his campaign. Whether you're Bernie, whether you're corrupt Mitch McConnell, I think every legislator recognizes that they have to be very cognizant of how much they challenge the establishment because politics is a game. It's about who's going to raise the most money. It's about who the lobbyists trust. And so, for me, and I've toyed with the idea, I kind of question, it really takes more than good intentions to be successful in politics. And what's interesting for me is I'd have to pick a party. Ultimately, if I was serious and I wanted to win, I'd have to pick a party, and I would probably be Republican. I would never go Democrat. And you're villainized by the Democrats by far and large because you have an R to your name. And if you're not a radical Trump supporter, you're villainized by the Republicans. And so there's very little space for moderate Republicans. We're seeing that with Liz Cheney, with Adam Kinzinger, with Mitt Romney. And so there's almost no value to being a sensible Republican. Because if Democrats were willing to reach across the aisle and say, look, we don't agree with the 30% of what you stand for, but if we can use the 70% to actually find compromise and pass good policy, then let's have a conversation. But the Democrats have shown, especially as people like AOC and the squad have become more prominent voices, that they don't want to compromise. I mean, even Manchin, who arguably is one of the most powerful Democrats right now because he holds all of the cards in a split Senate, they're villainizing him because he has the audacity to say some things that Democrats don't agree with.
Yeah, I gotta disagree on that. I think that dude is holding up a lot of things, but they're also using him as an excuse.
Yeah,
Like,
well, I
there's
think that's a prime example of too much money in politics because he's made tens of millions of dollars from the coal industry, right? So this is a prime example of corruption, a prime example of the Citizens United law, like unlimited funds coming in. And unless we rein those things in, we're going to be a totalitarian state very soon.
Yeah. And then that's when people like me take over.
There we go.
I'm just waiting.
Back
I'm
to
just
the
waiting.
poll.
You guys have fun with that. And then if you get in power, Adorable, I'll be watching.
Well, I would turn the White House into a brothel, and like for me, I think one of the biggest things we would do is legalize prostitution. Look, if we want to talk about silly laws that prevent us from maximizing our tax revenue, federalize cannabis and federalize prostitution. I understand the whole issue with legalized prostitution. I mean, when it comes to fucking you and taking your money, the government wants absolutely no competition. But the cannabis thing, I don't understand why it's still illegal, like, to smoke weed. I mean, if we talk about the mental and the physical ramifications of things like cigarettes or alcohol and the harm that causes versus things like weed. Look, I know plenty of people, especially my mother, who would probably be better off having smoked a little weed.
I think the only reason it's illegal is so they can use it as a political weapon, right? Because it's still a class 1 drug online with heroin and speed. So if you get caught with enough marijuana, you can be, tried held with a felony, and then you can never vote again. And that was the original intent of the original drug law that Nixon passed, right? His aide outed it on his deathbed and said, we created this to arrest blacks in the inner cities for heroin and hippies in the suburbs for weed. And if you did that, especially then it was a felony, then those people never vote again.
So can we talk about that? Because that is some of the shit that pisses me off about conservatives. It's like, you're right, they will fight vehemently to not restore the voting or civil rights of convicted felons, but yet they're the ones standing up and saying, whether you're a convicted felon or not, you should have the right to have a gun because that's a constitutionally protected right. So if we're going to talk about constitutionally protected rights, I think most people would agree that the right to vote and participate in the democratic process should be held more closely regarded than whether or not you have the right to bear arms. And so for Republicans to take this traditionally hypocritical stance that, oh, you're a convicted felon, you should be able to get an AR-15, but fuck your right to vote, it's just ludicrous.
It's completely ludicrous, and it kind of shows an agenda, right? Trying to limit the number of voters.
You're not on the West Coast, are you? I don't think you are.
I am. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Adorable. Are you on the West Coast?
Oh, I'm in Texas.
Oh, yeah, you have a real chance then. And I would just say that if they want to look at like the benefits of legalizing weed, they should look to California and Oregon. Our tax revenue from weed has been crazy, so there's something there.
Colorado as well. They were the first ones to do studies, and after the first year, all these statistics came out. Domestic abuse calls to the police went down, violent crime in general went down, drunk driving arrests went down, prescription pill overdoses went down. Unbelievable. Not to mention $60 million per quarter. Per quarter.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Yeah.
So if what's it called, you make the White House a brothel, what exactly is that gonna look like?
So the fountain will be retrofitted and turned into a big steam sauna where clothing is optional.
I thought you were going to say the fountain would be remodeled to replicate a phallus.
Well, it was either this sauna or a really big douche.
Do you guys know, this is crazy, but I watched a documentary on this. So this is historical fact through the Freedom of Information Act and stuff. During the presidency of George Bush Sr., there was a call boy operation busted that was serving the White House.
What?
Yeah, straight up. Look it up.
Say that again?
Yeah, a call boy ring was busted servicing the White House, a number of senators and high-ranking business officials, government and business officials, and we're talking kids. So this is unbelievable, right? And this is decades before Epstein. Right? So pretty crazy.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, it made me react, but at the same time, it's not shocking.
I know, right? It's unfortunately not shocking, right? It should blow our minds, but we're so overwhelmed with heinousness in this day and age that it's like, oh yeah, of course they did, right?
Right.
Of course.
Hey, we got a message, guys.
Tweet in like an hour. Oh, you know that guy.
You know something.
And another thing,
You know
long
guy?
time no see, buddy. It's been like a year.
What's going on? Good to see you
But-
again.
You got
Yeah, another thing has to promise to help you with podcasting and then just ignore your tweets.
what?
No, I'll help anybody with podcasting.
But I ain't mad at you, Dave. I ain't mad at you.
No, I'll help anybody. But you just got to be persistent in messaging me because I have ADHD and I'm busy and I'm unorganized.
That's okay. I ended up going to your arch nemesis, Lee.
Who?
Lee News Debate. He really doesn't do stereo too much because stereo took his monetization money, so he started protesting them.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, did you get yourself a setup?
I got a Rodecaster Pro and then the Procaster phone.
Right on. You went all in.
I
Good on
did.
ya.
But I'm still in that stage where it's like when I first got it, I used it for a week straight. And then when I moved from California to Texas, it's still sitting in moving boxes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That happens. Yeah, I bought myself $1,000 microphone for voiceover for my birthday, and I haven't taken that out of the box.
Holy shit.
I got to do something about that. This has been fun, you guys.
Yeah, no.
We covered some ground.
Yeah. This has been entertaining. Definitely.
Very much
But
so.
yeah, I definitely got to get going. I'm tired. You guys can keep going if you want, but I'm about to pass out.
I'm fading.
I appreciate
I'm fading a little bit too. I'm still kind of dirty from work. I don't do dirty work, but I was driving all day, so I'm like greasy and sweaty. I should probably shower before I go to bed.
Ooh, you're so dirty.
I'm so
Dude,
dirty.
so-
Nasty.
Right.
Oh, you nasty.
But all right, no, we can end it. Right, I gotta head to bed soon too.
All right. I appreciate it, Adorable.
All right.
Appreciate
I want to
it.
encourage you to
Dave.
run, though. I want to encourage you to run as much as possible, Adorable. Keep thinking about it. Don't rule it out.
Definitely.
What if you got the right donor, like a massive donor? But the right one that didn't tell you what to say or do?
He's just not. He's not a controlling boyfriend. He's just a really rich one.
Right.
Like a political daddy. No,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I just, again, for me, it's like, I'm sure the money could be raised. It's more the idea that you're spend what, 50K on flyers and signage and TV ads when you think about the kind of good that 50K can do in a city like Austin, where you have 12,000 homeless people, and so I fathom the idea that we're spending that much money on digital and printed media, which is going to be completely useless the day after election.
Yeah,
You're
I get
really a
that.
socialist. You just don't know it.
No,
I
I
think
am
so.
a democratic socialist, which I don't have a problem with, and I really don't think conservatives should, because look, there's a difference between being against capitalism and being against corporate greed. Most people have no problem with capitalism. Capitalism is a great thing in this country, but when it becomes corporate greed and we're suppressing living wages, we're denying basic benefits and providing proper terms of employment to people, then that's what the world is against. Look, if you want to be a conglomerate and have 100,000 locations across the country and be a $50 billion business, which we have organizations like that are doing that, but still use that riches to empower your employees, give them livable wages, and contribute to the overall good, there's nothing wrong with that.
Imagine that. Imagine if they would just give back a little. Like, okay, so make America great again, right? So when was America great? Well, for Black people, it's a whole nother conversation. For Native Americans, it's a whole nother conversation. But for your average, like, middle class white family, the only time that the American dream, who was it? George Carlin said that to believe the American dream, you got to be asleep. That's why they call it that. But the only time that did exist was a blip in time, and it was because the tax rate of the 1940s, the tax rate for the rich, if you made over 200,000 a year, you were taxed at up to 92%, right? But 200,000 then would probably be like 10 million today. So you don't need more than 10 million a year. Give back, right? You made your money because this country provided you the foundation to make that money. The airports, the roadways, the infrastructure, the people. And the corporate tax was equally adjusted, right? Now corporate tax is pathetically low. People have, offshore accounts, this and that. I mentioned the Pandora Papers earlier, which, it goes into showing how American oligarchs stash their money offshore so they don't have to pay taxes. So imagine if we could do something like that. The progressive, the quote unquote squad was talking about taxing after 10 million, 70%, which would still be mild in comparison. But imagine if we did that. The infrastructure wouldn't be crumbling. Flint would have drinkable water. Detroit wouldn't be a third world country in our own country, Yeah.
I
can do
don't
better.
Like, as much as Republicans want to tout the idea of reinvestments, we've seen through Reagan, we've seen through attempts by Donald Trump, trickle down economics doesn't work. And we've seen that big business cannot be trusted to take their excessive profits and revenues and put that back to the economy. So the only way that trickle down economics by extension is going to work is by taking that money via taxes and mandating specifically what type of programs that's going to go. Like,
Thank you. And you could give options, right?
Republicans have this idea, we're anti-tax. The Republican Party under Lee was never about being anti-tax. It was about not taxing without representation. Congress agrees that the best care of the American people is to take that 1% from the country's most elite and richest individuals and businesses and reinvest that for the average American. That is not in violation of what the tax policy that Republicans support. We are against excessive spending and we are against excessive taxing. But taxing 1% of $1 billion enterprise is not in bad faith of Republican tax policy.
Right. And it is physically conservative. I believe the only place that trickle down works is in a urinal. You know, it trickles down the side of the urinal and onto the floor.
Don't forget my.
I
Don't
like that
forget.
one. Yeah. This imaginary thing like the American dream.
Yep. You like that one?
I
Huh?
like how they still fucking tout that shit. Like, oh, trickle down. Yeah. Okay. So what has happened in the last like 40 fucking years?
Right.
Nothing.
Well, and we saw what happened. The stock market went crazy in the middle of the pandemic when everybody was told stay at home. The unemployment was through the roof. The stock market hit an all-time high. So that didn't create a ton of jobs. It just made a few people ridiculously wealthy, and a lot of
You know what
billionaires
else it
doubled their
exposed?
wealth.
You know what else they exposed by that happening? It exposed that this illusion that they were constantly implying that the stock market being successful means that the American people were doing well.
Right. That it's a
Which all
barometer for economic health.
right. So why is the
Which-
GDP like when we're talking about like the you know how well our country is doing? It actually takes into account that, but it doesn't take into account a lot of things about how people's mental health and other things are doing. Like I think it
Thank
was
you.
Andrew Yang was talking about that.
Right. Like for the first time in our country's history, the average lifespan has decreased, and the leading cause of death for white males now is called deaths of despair. So it's drug overdose, the medical implications of alcohol, or suicide straight out because people are miserable and hopeless.
Yeah. All right, guys. I gotta get going. You guys can keep talking if you want, but I gotta go to bed.
We got
Oh,
one message here. Let's play that at least.
All right.
Yeah.
I made bank off of AMC.
What the
AMC.
What did he say? Something?
AMC?
How
Like
did he do
the
that?
I think it's
Oh.
a stock.
Okay. Gotcha.
I'm gonna put you on my list. What is you know that guy?
Much appreciated, guys. This has been an awesome conversation.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of And Another Thing with Dave. If you're digging what I'm doing, picking up what I'm throwing down, please do share with friends and on social media. Until next time, keep on digging for the truth.